About 8 years ago, I was speaking at a youth camp in northern Romania, in the mountains of Romania. And there was a big, huge tent. And when I say camp, these people, it was a tent that we met in. There was about 600 people, and all 360 degrees around the tent, which they called the auditorium, but it was just a big tent. People were literally camping out. They were getting their water from a river that was running beside the tent, and they would literally go get their water and go use it to cook. One guy had rigged up, this was a historical camp, they'd done it year after year after year. He had rigged up and brought with him on his truck a big old water tank that held hundreds of gallons of water, and his whole family, that they camped in a circle around that water tank. That's how they showered, that's how they cooked. And we were there for 8 days, and I preached 3 times a day for 8 days. I was exhausted when that was done. But one day we were up in the mountains. One day somebody had told us that if you go up this dirt road and you'll come to a Y in the road, after about a half a mile, you'll come to this Y in the road, and you're going uphill the whole time. And if you veer off to the right, you'll come to the headwaters. You'll come to where that river originates in the mountain. And what do you call that? There's a name for it. Where the water, like hot springs, but it's just the headwaters. It literally looked like water was coming out of a rock. And it was just coming out in gushes and gushes, and it was going down the mountain. Well, I wanted to go see that. I mean, I'm just, I'm a soft-handed preacher. I don't get to see, I don't camp, I don't hunt, I don't own a gun. I don't do any of those kind of things. But I wanted to go see that. I thought that was pretty cool. You've probably seen that before, as big of an outdoorsman as you are. But you know what? I got up there, and I just sat beside that thing, and I just prayed, and I had a great time with the Lord. And on my way up there, I passed this a bunch of sheep in a grassy area eating. I didn't think a thing about it. I got up the mountain. I don't know how much time I spent. I came down the mountain, and the sheep were in the middle of my road. They were blocking my way, and there was a shepherd, and there was a sheepdog, and they were moving those sheep down the road. The shepherd was leading. The sheepdog was behind. I got to see a real shepherd. And the dog was nipping at their heels, keeping them moving because it was time to go. But the shepherd had found that grassy area for them to feed in. Now it was time to move on. And I sat down and I just observed. Well, I've read about stuff like this in the Bible, and I've heard sermons on it. Well, the sheep got to a point where they were past the point where I was watching them, and it revealed an injured sheep that was laying on the side of the road in the gutter. And that sheep was making all kinds of noise because his buddies were leaving. Well, I watched, and God is my witness. I did not have my cell phone with me, or I would have been filming this. I watched the dog go get the attention of the shepherd and got him back over to this injured sheep, and literally watched the shepherd pick the sheep up. You've seen these pictures where the sheep's hanging over the shoulders of the shepherd. He literally picked that sheep up, hung that injured sheep over his shoulders, walked all the way past the other sheep. I don't know how far I could. I don't get measurement distance very well. Laid the sheep down and then let all the other sheep just continue to move. I got to watch a real live good shepherd. It was so cool. When I saw that happen, I was just weeping. I just thought, man, this is what the Bible's talking about. Wow.